Hi guys, and welcome back to the Our Minds channel and another sit down video. This video is primarily for my ladies out there, for you to stay safe when you're out and about, and especially when you're out and about by yourself. So about 3 weeks ago now, I went to the Caribbean Food Festival. If you guys have seen the vlog that I put up last week Sunday, you would see towards the end the clips that I put up of the festival. Okay, so had a fabulous time at the festival. It was a lovely warm day, great food, good music, nice atmosphere, loved it. So at some point during the festival, I was standing by the stage listening to the Bob Marley tribute band playing. So I'm there, drinkers in my hand, swaying left to right, enjoying the vibes, having a good time. Across the stage, so on the opposite side to me, there was a guy, and I locked eyes with him, not in that way, but locked eyes with him, and he was staring at me like this. Now, I don't know about you, but somebody staring at me in that manner, regardless of whether you are male or female, I don't find that appealing. I don't like it. I don't want it. You are not my future husband. Please. Is that a fly on my table? No. You are not my future husband. Please just, leave me alone. Anyway, didn't think anything of it. Broke eye contact with him. Carried on listening to the band playing, swaying, still had my drink in my hand, da 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 da. Then my eyes again just came across his way, and the guy is still looking at me like this. Now, when you lock eyes with somebody, like the person who is looking at you or staring at you, they just kind of like look away. He didn't break eye contact. But again, didn't think anything of it. I thought to myself, you know what? I'm here. The stage is in between us and you are on the other side. Great, whatever. Carried on listening to the music. I'm now recording parts of the performance. Next thing I know, the same guy who was on the opposite side of the stage, opposite to me, like way over there, he's now here, right next to me. And I was so shocked and surprised, because I thought to myself, hold on a minute, literally about 7 seconds ago, you were there. Like I saw you way over there. And now you're here standing next to me. And just to set the scene for you, all right? I'm here, the stage is like there, and between me and him there was a barricaded area for young children, because at some point the host was interacting with some of the kids that were in the crowd and playing, kid games and what have you. So there was a barrier there, and on the other side of the barrier, that was where he was standing. And if my memory serves me well, there was also a VIP section as well. But the VIP section, to be fair, it was behind him. Anyway, next to the barrier where the kids were, there was the crowd. And like I said, if you've seen the vlog that I put up last week, I've got clips of the food festival. The crowd was a lot. And it was a very mixed crowd, men, women, children, older kids, younger kids. And even where I was standing to watch the performance, there was a family and they had like a picnic blanket, and there were like 2 kids. They weren't very young. I mean, they were young, but not like young toddlers. One of them I remember was eating a patty, and the other one was just like sitting there doing whatever. And so that whole crowd section was made up of like families, men, women, children. They had their picnic blankets, they had their deck chairs, their picnic chairs, their not Tupperware, but those big old food boxes that you store drinks and food in to keep them either cold or warm. They had that there. So this guy would have had to weave in and out some of these family members. He couldn't come straight directly towards me because of how the families on the grass were set up. You couldn't quite do that. It would have been very, very challenging. So what he would have had to have done is walk through some of the families that were sitting on the edge, walk up to where the entrance was, near enough where the entrance was, walk through some of the food stalls that were there, to come up from behind where the little funfair was, to walk through the woodland bit where people are standing to get shelter from the sun, to then come up behind me and stand next to me. And he did that, and I'm telling you, about 0.7 seconds. It was so quick. So anyway, he's here. And immediately he says to me, "Hi, what's your name?" So my spidey senses have been tingled, and I'm like, okay, I don't really like this. I don't really like this. I don't like it. I feel very uncomfortable. But I've learnt my lesson from the past with being very direct with men. This is like years back, and that's for another story time. So I said, I didn't give him my real name. I said, "My name's Amanda. There's no way you're getting my real name, especially if I'm not interested in you." So he was like, "Oh, hello, my name is," to be honest with you, I really cannot remember his name. So then we were quiet for a bit. And then I could see at the corner of my eye that he was staring at me. Now, slight pause in the story. Some of you might be thinking, "Oh yeah, but Jemima, you could have just walked away. You could have moved further away from him." Negative. No, I couldn't. I couldn't move further away from him because, like I said, where I was standing, there were kids on a picnic mat. And it's a bit bad, man. It's a bit rude to now start standing on their picnic mat with the kids there eating and playing and what have you. So I kind of just leaned a bit to the side, and I was carrying on recording the tribute act. In terms of walking away, no. Like I said a few minutes ago, I have done that in the past, and I kid you not, when I've done it, the men have squared up to me like they were about to box me in my forehead, and I don't want to get boxed in my forehead. I didn't want to get boxed then, and I certainly didn't want to be boxed there last week, 3 weeks ago, when I was at the food festival. So anyway, I'm there still drinking my drink. I'm ignoring the guy, and he's asking me questions, and he's like, "Oh, where do you come from?" And I thought, at some point, well, let me not be too rude, because like I said, don't want to get boxed in the face. So I was like, "Oh, I'm from somewhere. I'm not going to tell you where, but if you guess it, then okay, that's where I'm from, you know." And so he's reeling off all of these countries, and I'm just like, no, no, no. Anyway, then he stops asking me, carrying on filming the tribute band. And then he's like, "Oh, do you want to use my selfie stick?" And I'm like, no, thank you. So then we stopped talking for a while, and I thought to myself, maybe my guy's gotten the message, And then again, I can see from the side of my eye that he's still staring at me. And I'm like, let me bring in the somewhat big guns. So get out my phone and I call my sister. And I was calling her so that we could be on a conversation, and I'll like pretend and I'll say to him, "I've got to go, got to take this call," and I'll just walk off, make my excuses and walk off. My sister didn't pick up. So I was like, "You know what? It's fine. It's fine. I'll call my brother." Better still, it's better to call him, because as soon as his face comes up on the phone, this guy is going to think that he's my man, because I don't look like my brother. And whenever we go out, people always think that we're boyfriend and girlfriend. So cool. Call my brother. My brother didn't pick up the phone. You know what? Sometimes I think my family will actually let me die. But anyway, I thought to myself, you know what? Let me just be nice, be polite, and just walk away. So eventually I turned to him and I said, "Well, you know what? Enjoy the rest of the festival. I'm going to meet my friends up there." I was pointing somewhere, and bye. So as I turned to walk away, he says, "Oh, can I have your number?" And I was like, "No." I was being very nice without what? Let's be honest. I didn't say no. I just said no. That's how I said it. So then he tried to kind of like grab my arm, and he goes, "Oh, please, can I get your number?" And I said, "No, I don't want to give my number out, but enjoy the rest of the festival." And then I just sped it out of there. All right. So there I am. I'm thinking, okay, I've lost him. Amen. Lost him. So at this point, I finished my rum punch, which was strong. And I said, "I need some food," because I hadn't eaten. So there I am. I'm walking around the food section. And then I got distracted at this natural, like oils and hair care stand that was there. So as I'm there and I'm looking around, and, as I was leaving the store, the guy who was talking to me earlier, he approaches me and he goes, "Oh, we bump into each other again." And I'm like, "Ah." And again, I didn't think anything of it, because I thought to myself, this park is big. It's not as big as Hampstead Heath, but it's big enough. But how the festival was set up, it was in a, it wasn't in the, it wasn't that, it didn't take up much of the park, basically. So if you're going to run into someone, it's understandable. It was big, but not that big. Anyway, I digress. I then walk now to where the food section is. That's where I need to be. And I'm at this roti shack, and I think I was at the roti shack. Anyway, I line up. And the queue was very, very long. And at this point, I'm ravenous. I'm really, really hungry. So I'm just looking around thinking, oh, maybe I shouldn't get the roti. Maybe I should just get something else because there's less queues over there, whatever. And then as I'm turning and I look at the back of the queue, who is standing there, please? The guy is standing at the back of the queue, but he's on his phone. And again, I thought to myself, this is interesting now. This is very much of a coincidence. So anyway, I found this one stand, bought my food, decided to leave a little bit early to avoid the rush at the end of the festival when everyone's trying to get the train and trying to get the bus home. Anyway, so I leave the festival. A few days later, I now start to edit the vlog that went out last week. And as I got to the section of the festival where I was going through all the clips, I noticed that that guy was in quite a few of the clips. And I thought to myself, you know what? This is a bit too much of a coincidence. So as I'm going through the clips, and mind you, he's not in all of them, but he was in quite a few. I'm going through the clips and I noticed that based on what I was filming, he had clocked me the second I entered into that festival, the entrance. Now, mind you, as a side note, the clips that I have on my phone of him, he did not end up in the vlog because I just know I didn't want him in the vlog. Anyway, so as I'm going through the clips, I first noticed him the second I walk in at the entrance, and it was a bit creepy because he's looking directly at me. I'm not paying any attention to him because when I walked in, I was just like, wow, there is a lot of people here. So that's the first time I clocked him. All the other clips that he is in is when I had finished talking to him and I was now on the hunt for food and walking through, in and out, the different food stands at the festival, which then made me realize when I was connecting all of the dots in my head that this guy knew I was by myself because he'd seen me when I came in, B, he knew that I wasn't interested in him, and C, he knew that I was trying to get away from him, and he didn't care because he was on a mission to try and get my number or God knows what else, even though I had told him no. And there it was on my phone as I'm going through the clips. He's there. He was literally following me all around. I tell you this story, like I said, primarily for the ladies out there. Be careful when you are out and about, and especially be careful when you're out by yourself and you know you're going to be somewhere where men will be, quite a lot of men will be. For example, bars, lounge bars, concerts, festivals. Have your wits about you. And unfortunately, I don't think we've ever lived in a time where you can just leave your house and not really take any precaution, as in, let's just say you go to a bar, okay, and a guy starts chatting you up. It's not by force, ladies, that you have to entertain this man or even necessarily talk to this man for an extended period of time. Now, do not be rude because that's just going to cause a lot of problems for yourself, but have your wits about you and have something in play to get you out of a situation that you are not comfortable with. For example, let's go with the bar. You're at a bar, you're by yourself, and a guy comes over to you, he's talking to you. You're not interested in him, you don't really want to talk to him, that's absolutely fine. Do what I did. Get your phone out. If you've got your sibling, your best friend, your mum, your dad, whoever, call somebody and make your excuses to the guy. Okay, I've just got to take this call, and get out of that situation. If nobody is picking up, then look around you. Is there a security guard there? Walk towards the security guard. Because again, it's been my experience that if you go towards security, they are less likely to come and talk to you because they can see another guy there. So they kind of like retreat back. They'll still watch you, but they retreat back. If they're still hovering around, if they're still watching you and it's making you feel very uncomfortable, tell the security guard that is why they are there. If you can't see a security guard, look for like groups of people, look for a group of women, make a beeline to those women and stand close by them. Because again, from my experience, God, I make it sound like this has happened to me all the time, and I promise you it hasn't. But make a beeline to those groups of women, stand near them, because again, a guy is less likely to carry on talking to you and get your number when you are among a group of women. Now, yes, I don't know men like that. I'm just going off my experience and also what I've seen or heard from stories with my friends. But you're doing these things as a way to keep you safe. Like I said, it's not by force. You have to talk to these women, talk to these men. And unfortunately, when it comes to a man, and especially when a man is desperate and not all the way emotionally intelligent or there, they do not take no for an answer. I mean, men generally don't take no for an answer, but there are some that will really push it and again take offense to it and then try and hurt you in a way because you have rejected them. Protect yourself, and also don't be so desperate when a guy talks to you. You could be as single as a Pringle. You could be as single as air, yeah, and you hardly get a man approaching you. If a guy does approach you, okay, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's been like 5 years since a guy has chatted me up in a lounge bar, and this guy that is chatting you up, you don't like him. You are feeling a very negative vibe, a very negative energy. You don't like his approach. Please don't continue talking to him. That's not your person. Say thank you. I'm okay. Enjoy your evening. It's a no. Just be nice about it. Be nice about it, but do not be rude. I think that I'm going to do a part 2 to this video, and I'm going to show you what can go wrong when you are rude to these men. And for any man that is watching, I look at my what's that word called, my analytics, and the majority of people that watch this channel are women. So on the very off chance that a guy might watch this, guys, I'm going to put you on a bit of game on how to approach a woman, or at least get a woman's attention. That's going to be in the next video. But anyway, guys, as always, I hope that you enjoyed watching this video. I hope you understood what I said. I hope that it made sense. Please take care when you're out there, and I will most definitely see you in the next one. Bye-bye.